Welcome to the Pageant Gal podcast, the show where powerhouse women like you learn to own your confidence and leadership, dominate the pageant stage, and even turn your pageant passion and experience into a thriving business. I'm your host, Maria, the Pageant Gal, a 5-time title holder and full-time international elite pageant and business coach. Chin up, crown on, Pageant Gals, and welcome back to the Pageant Gal podcast, where we are conquering pageants, business, and life. I'm your host, Maria, the Pageant Gal, and today I wanted to talk about something that I feel like is the not so talked about side of pageant preparation. That should be the number one talked about thing about pageant preparation, which is creating your pageant winning preparation strategy and the specific things that you need to do in order to win. And I don't just mean interview, runway, win, none of that nonsense. I mean the actual science behind creating a preparation strategy that leads to the crown over and over again. And as someone who has won 5 pageant titles, which is, over half of the pageants I've ever competed in 8 years, I went back through the things that I had to do in my time leading up to each of my wins, and I looked at what were the things that actually led to that success, because I truly believe winning is not just up to chance, and it's not just up to luck. It doesn't happen on accident. And when you're truly adding these 3 components, so we're going to talk about the 3 T's of creating your pageant winning preparation checklist, you become unstoppable. You become an unshakable force that is not only a front runner to win the crown, but you become magnetic and captivating in every area of competition, and your chances of winning go from a possibility to a probability, right? The probability is high. It's not like you just entered and you have a chance to win just because you're there. You put yourself in the 1% who is likely going to win that title. So let's actually talk about what that looks like and how to actually build a winning strategy. Now, I love talking about these things because, again, I don't love to just leave things up to chance. To me, pageantry is not a gamble. If it was, I wouldn't find it as fun, right? I'm a sporty gal. I played soccer all of my life. I love to know that when the actions that I'm doing and the time that I'm taking to invest in this sport is leading to growth, it's leading to progress, and it's leading to an increased success chance. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to know that by the end of thousands of dollars invested, thousands and countless of hours spent preparing, that your chances of winning are like 10 times greater? So it's a plan, right? And we know that plans change. We know that life happens. We know that things come up. But when you have these 3 T's aligned in your pageant preparation plan, it becomes so much more direct. You become so much more focused and intentional. And I know I've talked about this in a previous episode where I say the more that you're focused on your own plan ahead that's leading you forward towards your goal, towards your dream, the less you're going to be looking around at what everybody else is doing, getting confused, getting doubtful, getting, mistaken by all of these other distractions. But no, it's because you have your pageant prep timeline with the 3 T's. So let's go into it. The first T that you need to create your own pageant winning checklist is timeline. Girl, we need to know your timeline for preparing for competition. And this is so simple. And oftentimes pageant women don't give themselves enough time to actually do their due diligence and do the preparation that's needed to win. Especially if you're competing in a national or international preparation, I say golden rule, your preparation should start 6 months in advance to give yourself the opportunity to truly go in and experience a transformation throughout this process, right? There's no guarantee that if you're only doing interview prep for 2 months, or if you're only working on your platform or seeking out sponsors over 2 months, there's really no guarantee that you're going to see a significant level of progress and improvement, because we're just not giving ourselves time. And sometimes our growth and evolution, it just takes time. It takes refinement. It takes consistency with things like runway. So 6-month timeline. Now, what are you doing in that 6-month timeline? The first 1 to 3 months, I always say it's setting the foundation for strong preparation. So this is a huge assessment period and a huge laying the groundwork so that the next 3 months you can be in action. So what does that look like? If I had to have 3 to 4 things that you're focused on for the first 3 months of your preparation versus the last 3, the first 3 are going to look like: 1, your platform and the impact that you're making. 2 is your personal brand and your No, we'll stick with personal brand because the other one is like a totally different thing. But your personal brand about how you're showing up. Personal brand that also ties into your platform brand. So how you're showing up in your daily life, how you're showing up on social media, and overall the vibe that you are emitting out into the industry, which is it's more than just social media. It's your wardrobe, it's who you are, it's understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you're bringing to that title. The third thing that you need to be doing 1 to 3 months out, I would say, is also working on your identity and your mindset and the things that can take you out of the game, right? Because this isn't just about the pageant, this is about you bettering yourself in every aspect of your life. So, what areas do you need to improve? So, I would say those things combined with pageant preparation, right? We want to know, what does your interview look like? What does your runway look like? What wardrobe do you need? And then the next 3 months, so your final sprint 90-day leading up to the competition should really be a time where you're in action, you're in preparation, you're making the impact, you're doing the initiatives, you're collaborating with sponsors, you are doing your runway, you're doing mock interviews. Right? There's very little benefit doing a mock interview 6 months out from competition every week because you're still evolving as a person. You're still doing different things that you're going to talk about in your interview when it comes to your platform. So those final 3 months, the 90-day sprint 3 month leading up to competition, is really when you want to be in action leading up. And not just in action with your preparation, but in action with your mindset and self-care. Because you are only as strong of a competitor as you are connected to yourself, to your heart, to your core, and your ability to balance all of the responsibilities that you're going to have going on. And oftentimes it's in that 90-day sprint period where I see a lot of pageant women go into burnout. And then by the end of the competition, they're glad they didn't win because they were so exhausted and couldn't handle the pressure because they didn't actually have their pageant prep timeline set up properly. So that's the first T. The second T is understanding what your crown winning tasks are. So, your crown winning tasks mean that you are focused on the actions that lead to progress, that lead to what you're being scored on, that lead to you feeling and being the queen in all aspects of competition and of your life. So, what is a crown winning task versus what is just busy work? So, a crown winning task is doing something like filming your pageant runway so that you can send it to your coach and get feedback. A not crown winning task is only watching countless hours of pageant videos on YouTube because you just want to see all the beautiful walks, but you're not actually committed to doing the preparation work and putting the hours in to improve your walk, right? Watching a pageant video is not going to help improve your runway walk. Practicing your runway walk is going to improve your runway walk. Let's go into another one. So what a not crown winning task is practicing 10 interview questions, but not reviewing your answers, not knowing if, or not reflecting on if they actually connect to your interview strategy, and not getting any feedback from your coach in terms of if your answers are actually landing or not. A crown winning task is going to be answering 5 interview questions and making sure that you are personalizing each answer to your interview strategy. It's going to be assessing after those 5 answers, do you remember what you talked about? And did you talk about the things that were part of your interview winning game plan? It's sending your responses to your coach and then getting feedback and then doing those same questions again so that you can improve. So a crown winning task is not just doing anything, right? It's actually working smarter. It's having more higher quality preparation that, again, allows you to see improvement in your performance and in your preparation, but it's also a way where you're not going to be spinning your wheels, doing more, thinking more, wondering more what you could be doing to improve without actually seeing the progress and improvement. So it's quality preparation that is backed by these 3 things. It's backed by a strategy, whether it's your own personal routine, whether it's having your own interview strategy, your Naylor Pageant interview strategy I teach my clients. It's backed by self-awareness, so where you're aware of how you're preparing and is it quality? Are you actually preparing in a way where you would be doing this performance on stage, or are you acting like this is just practice? Or are you treating every single interview question like I'm being judged on this right now? And the third thing that really does back your crown winning task is feedback. Having feedback, having perspective from other people to help you improve, to help you see the things that you might not be able to see. That's the difference between any ordinary runner-up pageant preparation versus pageant winning preparation, is having crown winning tasks that focus on doing specific actions that actually lead to progress, improvement, and winning the crown. So that's the second T of creating your preparation plan to win the crown and achieve all of your pageant winning goals. The third T that you need to have in your pageant winning preparation plan, I could say that a million times over and over again. The third three is team. Listen to me right now, gal. And I don't know if you're watching this or listening to this in your car, in your room, if you're having a cup of coffee, put everything down. You do not get bonus points for doing this all by yourself. It's awesome. I'm sure you could, but the best leaders and queens in the world have a community of people supporting them. And your team it doesn't have to be hundreds of people. It doesn't necessarily mean a coach or a makeup artist, but it's who is supporting you. How are you receiving support on your pageant journey? Who is there to elevate you and show that they're backing your win just as much as you? It can look like having a coach, having a personal trainer, having a supportive family, having sponsors that are just as invested in your journey. Who is your crown winning team? And if you don't have one right now, what are you doing to build those relationships and connections to have a supportive team around you? Whenever somebody says, I don't have people that support my pageant journey, or I don't have sponsors, nobody in my area wants to sponsor me, or I feel like I'm doing this alone, like nobody gets it, that to me shows that you don't know how to build relationships. We got a bigger problem. We don't need to win the crown. We need to work on you building supportive relationships around you. Because if the people around you right now aren't sponsoring you, aren't supporting you, we need to create a new kingdom. We need to create people who are going to support you. What do you want me to do? Change the people's minds that don't support you? You can try. It's going to be 10 times harder, take 10 times longer. Or you can put your chin up, put your crown on, and go and build a team who actually gets your vision, who actually sees your potential, who actually knows and emphasizes the value that you can offer in the world, and who elevates you. That's the thing. What community do you have around you to elevate the actions that you're doing? Every single woman can have stronger relationships in her life that elevate her to levels she didn't even know were there, right? Because when you're just doing it by yourself, you don't have that soundboard. You don't have that awareness of where am I actually at? Can I be doing more? Am I playing small? And with team around you, again, it doesn't just have to be a coach. Like I hired a personal trainer during one of my pageant journeys. Actually, he was also with me to my international pageant win. And though he knew and probably cared nothing about pageants before he met me, he was instrumental in my pageant winning journey leading up to internationals. If he was somebody who was like, pageants are stupid, why are you doing this? That's a waste. He wouldn't have been part of my team. But the fact that he was like, this is so interesting, Maria, like you can absolutely do this. Wow, tell me about your platform. Like that was so beneficial to hyping me up and making me realize my vision and my dream was so much bigger than just me. So having your own team, your own personal team that you get to create. Nobody else creates your team for you. You create your team around you. And recognizing the team and relationships that you have is also such an asset and such an essential component of creating a pageant winning checklist and a pageant winning preparation plan. So the 3 T's: creating your own personalized pageant winning timeline, what you need to be doing and when, your own pageant calendar, your crown winning tasks. So you're doing specific actions that are leading to progress, improvement, and a winning performance. And then your team, the people around you who are there to support and elevate you, that remind you that you're not in this alone, that you have, a bigger community that you're doing this with and for. And that shows the judges you have supportive people around you and that you're not somebody who's just doing this alone and going to get the crown and keep doing it alone. Queens aren't meant to do this alone. When you tie these 3 pieces together, you start realizing that the recipe for success in pageantry is not made up. It's not a bunch of random things, and it doesn't happen on accident. It's something that is strategic, it's something that is intentional, and it's something that can happen for you over and over again. A lot of people aren't teaching this, but I want to start seeing more women be more confident in your preparation so that you can make so much more of your time in the process of competing and beyond. Okay, so I want you to write down these 3 things. If this helped you, please let me know in the DMs on Instagram. You can follow me and message me at the Pageant Gal and say, wow, Maria, like this episode, banger. This was incredible. And I needed this in my pageant journey to X pageant. I love to connect with all of you and just listen to the advice and wisdom, really emphasizing and helping you in your pageant preparation. That's why I've created this podcast. That's why we're doing these episodes, because I know that you have so much potential and so much heart in you. And I want to see you be the queen of your life and go and win that crown so that you can leave your legacy around the world. We need stronger competitors, amazing women winning titles and making an influence on the world in the best way possible. Hopefully that all made sense. I'm trusting that it did, my gals. But again, message me if you found this episode helpful. And I cannot wait to hear about what you are doing and to see you in the next one.